On the 12th of May, a very special tribute was paid to the father of the preservation movement at Porthmadog on the Festiniog Railway. James Larson was there.
Well, I'm here because you're having this wonderful festival on the Festiniog in honor of Alan Pegler, who saved this line. I met him some 30 years ago, and when George Hinchcliffe called and said you were going to have the special weekend, I decided this is a must. I've had a lifelong ambition to ride the Festiniog.
A friend of mine, George Hinchcliffe, asked me if I'd help him out organise a weekend on behalf of Alan Pegler. Because of Alan is, as I think a lot of people know, is suffering from Parkinson's disease, we thought that a nice thank you for all the efforts that over the years that he's done in preservation, but combining both a Parkinson's disease weekend along with a weekend to thank him would be the ideal tribute to him. Because I think it's something that should have been done some time ago, especially with Alan's concern. I honestly believe he should have a bit more recognition than just a weekend like this. When I first came here back in the 60s, the harbour station was covered in grass. There was no platform, this canopy didn't exist, you had one building, and it's through the efforts of people like Alan Pegler and the actual on-the-ground volunteers that we see what we've got in front of us today. And as I said, it was one of the vehicles that inspired other people to go off and do theirs.
In the morning, after many speeches of congratulation, Alan Pegler was presented with a magnificent scale model of his beloved Flying Scotsman, which he bought from British Railways in 1963.
It is a working model, 7mm scale, of the Flying Scotsman. Alan.
The model had been built from a kit by the Worley Model Railway Club and was correct in every detail.
But I don't know where to start, I say, in terms of the thank yous that I'm owing to everybody for this marvellous occasion.
I think the model is absolutely amazing. I mean, the detail of it is absolutely perfect, and little touches that I'm personally so pleased about. For example, in the days when the engine was, I don't like to call it my engine, but it was in my care for those 10 years or so, it had a red background to the nameplate. And that little detail has been incorporated because when it was running with two tenders, it always had the red background to the nameplate.
As a founder member of the Festiniog Railway, Alan Pegler flagged off a special in his honour from Porthmadog to Blaenau Festiniog.
Yes, I mean, I was always a great optimist, and I did have more or less this, I don't say vision, but this is what I did visualise in the long term. We'd have even things like dining trains like we had last night. Don't get them every day of the week, but my goodness me, it can be done, and when it's done properly, I mean, it's absolutely wonderful. And yes, I mean, I did have all these ideas, visions, whatever you like to call it, years ago. I thought one day we could do this, and we jolly well are doing it. It's wonderful.
As the saviour of the Flying Scotsman and the Festiniog Railway, Alan Pegler has rightly been crowned the father of steam preservation.
Yes, I mean, father of preservation, whatever you like, very nice, and I certainly won't argue with it.
The Welsh Highland Line link-up with the Festiniog Railway continues apace. The line, which starts at Carnarvon with its famous castle, will eventually link up with the Festiniog at Porthmadog. At Winevow, the footbridge from the platforms to the caravan park next to the new station is nearly finished. The foundations for the station buildings are now in place, and the loop has been completed. Track laying is also going well. In the meantime, the Welsh Highland Railway runs its full service.
The Bluebell Railway's branch line gala of the 25th and 26th of February saw the return to traffic for the first time in preservation of Southern Railway U-Class, number 1638. Indeed, it was over 42 years ago when the engine was withdrawn from British Railways service. 1638's return to steam this year follows a major restoration from scrapyard condition by staff and volunteers of the Bluebell Railway and the Maunsell Locomotive Society. Running through the heart of the Sussex Weald, the Bluebell Railway beautifully recreates the glory days of the Southern Railway in the southeast of England. The largest station on the line is here at Horsted Keynes, formerly the junction station for the branch line which once ran to Ardingly, a section of track which may one day be resurrected by the Bluebell following the completion of their current major project, the extension of the railway northwards from Kingscote along the original track bed towards East Grinstead.
On Wednesday to its home base at the Midlands Railway in Hampshire, and for this weekend it's been designed that the pathway brings forward the last steam train on the Cheshire branch, which will be reenacted here on the Bluebell Depot with the very coaches used on the last steam train.
Visiting LMS Ivett Tank, number 41312, normally based on the Mid-Hants Railway, appeared in the guise of classmate number 41284. Performing some of its final duties before being withdrawn this summer for its 10-year heavy overhaul was Normandy, shunting a goods train around Horsted Keynes station. The engine is a London and South Western Railway B4 class shunter, dating from 1893. Normandy spent the majority of its working life shunting in Southampton docks. All is not of a Southern Railway variety, however, on the Bluebell, and a loco very precious to the line is GWR Earl Class 440, the Earl of Berkeley. Arriving at Horsted Keynes with a train for Sheffield Park is the double-headed combination of Terrier, number 65 Stepney, and O1 class, number 65.
Number 3. This train will remain here for a while until the train from Keyscote, which is en route to us, arrives at platform number 3. Keyscote train, the train now arriving at platform number 2.
Stepney is now 131 years old, being built by the London, Brighton and South Coast Railway back in 1875. Completing the vintage lineup is the somewhat elegant number 65, built by the South Eastern and Chatham Railway in 1896 at Ashford Works in Kent. As you'll see in this sequence, the two locos are beautifully complemented by the Bluebell Railway's superbly restored set of wooden-bodied Metropolitan Railway coaches. A popular attraction on many of the UK's heritage railways are the pre-Christmas Santa specials. These scenes from December 2005 feature the West Somerset Railway's Santa operations at Bishop's Lydiard. Preparing for departure is Somerset and Dorset Railway's 7F class number 88, not long returned to steam following an extensive heavy overhaul which had seen the engine out of traffic since 1997. Although not authentic to these former goods locos, owning group the Somerset and Dorset Railway Trust have had the engine painted into S&D Prussian blue livery, the final lettering on the tender having yet to be applied, 88 being so soon out of the workshops. With 88 running these Santa specials to Crocombe Heathfield station, the longer Santa Express workings to Lytton were handled by number 9351, a regular performer on the West Side for years now. Several weeks earlier, on the 26th of November, number 88 was in steam at Washford on the West Somerset Railway for a mutual improvement class for many of the line's footplate crew. These exclusive shots show the unusual sight of the engine shuttling back and forth on the steep gradients either side of Washford Station, as the drivers and firemen each took it in turn to become acquainted with the 7F. For our turn on the footplate, number 88 was in the capable hands of regular West Somerset driver David Williams. Just 11 of these engines were ever built, designed by Henry Fowler of the Midland Railway specifically for use on the S&D for hauling mineral trains over the steep gradients across the Mendip Hills. Fortunately, 2 of the class survived into preservation, and later on in this production we'll see sister engine number 53809.
Yeah, we don't need to touch it. Yeah, carry on, Dave.
Steam returned again at Christmas to part of the original Somerset and Dorset route with the visit from the East Somerset Railway of Andrew Barclay 040 saddle tank, number 1398, Lord Fisher. Currently being restored to 1950s condition, Midsummer Norton Station, located between Radstock and Chilcompton on the old S&D, was once at the heart of the Somerset coalfields. While the majority of the stations on the S&D were demolished when the line was closed in 1966, it is fortunate that the buildings here remained more or less intact and are now in the care of the Somerset and Dorset Railway Heritage Trust. Work is ongoing here to recreate a working heritage railway and museum based around the old station buildings. With track laying completed through the station area, the Trust's intention is to extend the track southwards towards and hopefully through Chilcompton Tunnel to terminate at a station to be built just north of the one originally located in Chilcompton Village, which now has houses built on the site. The new year brought a new locomotive to the steam scene. Southern Railway Battle of Britain class Pacific, number 34067 Tangmere, seen here at Bury Shed. Steamed for the first time since the loco was scrapped in the 1960s, Brian Pickett's pride and joy has been beautifully restored at Ian Riley's workshops to mainline standards. With work on the engine complete and nameplates attached, Tangmere, named after the World War II fighter station, took to the metals of the East Lancs Railway to be one of the star attractions at the line's galas in February and March. We see Tangmere working hard on the line, banked by British Railways staff number 76079. A second locomotive to be re-steamed at Bury after a long period out of use was LMS Jubilee class, number 45690 Leander. The engine is seen here at Bury, restored to working order but still in its undercoat, which is how it appeared during the East Lancs galas. Leander arrives at Bury Bolton Street station with a shuttle train returning from the works at Buckley Wells. This was a light duty for the engine during the January gala. However, in February, Leander made more adventurous runs along the branch to Ramsbottom. Two other LMS locos featured in the galas. Black 5, number 45407, has been renumbered to portray classmate, number 45157, the Glasgow Highlander. Class 5 Crab, number 42765, running on a demonstration freight train, was working out its last few months before the end of its 10-yearly boiler ticket. The engine was withdrawn from service later in the year. The following sequence features the Crab, Black 5, Jubilee and the Standard 4 at work along the East Lancs. Now a maintenance depot for Bombardier transportation services, this year's Crew Works Open weekend allowed visitors a rare behind-the-scenes look at the former LMS workshops. The event was titled The Return of the Legends, and indeed all the London Midlands steam engines in attendance were built here. In its full Royal Train regalia was number 6233, Duchess of Sutherland, an LMS Coronation class locomotive. Leander, seen earlier on the East Lancs Railway in Undercoat, was now looking superb after the completion of its paint job, and was accompanied by fellow East Lancs Black 5, number 45407, which we also saw in action at the line's gala. Carrying British Railways maroon livery was LMS Class 2MT, number 46441. Another engine resplendent in LMS Crimson Lake livery was Princess Royal Class locomotive, number 6201, Princess Elizabeth. The LNER was represented by two engines. Number 60009 Union of South Africa is a Gresley streamlined design A4 class built at Doncaster in 1937. V2 class, number 60800 Green Arrow, was built a year earlier at Doncaster and again was designed by Sir Nigel Gresley. The British Railways era of standard locomotives was represented by Class 4, number 76079, now popularly known as the Pocket Rocket. Southern Railway West Country class number 34027 from the Severn Valley was on display as its alter ego, Ottery St Mary. Number 7760 is one of the 863 of these 060 pannier tanks built by the Great Western Railway. Fresh from its latest filming escapades with Harry Potter was GWR Hall class number 5972 Alton Hall in the livery of Hogwarts Railways. Number 7822 Foxcote Manor was built at Swindon by British Railways in 1950 to a GWR design dating back to 1938. Steamed for the first time in preservation at the Llangollen Railway this year is number 5199, a Great Western 5101 class prairie tank, seen alongside another Great Western Hall, number 4936 Kinlet Hall. Moving on to the Traverser outside the former LMS erecting shop, where hundreds of steam locomotives were built up to 1958, is number 48151. This LMS 8F was one of two engines working mainline steam shuttles between Crewe and Chester over the weekend. The 8F certainly turned a few heads amongst the regular passengers at Crewe Station and was a splendid sight amongst today's arguably less attractive electric and diesel multiple units. With the 8F turned, the locomotive sets off with another run to Chester. The other engine working the mainline shuttles from Crewe to Chester was Great Western Railway Hall class, number 4965, Rood Ashton Hall, based at Tyseley in Birmingham. In the following sequence, the locomotive makes a much more sedate departure from Crewe compared to the 8F, after which we see the Hall out on the main line near Chester. Steam galas are one of the big attractions on Britain's heritage railways. In the next few sequences we take the opportunity to soak up the steam action on several lines in the south and west. On the Mid-Hants Railway, the Watercress line, several interesting guest locomotives were in attendance for the South Western Branch Line weekend, joining Mid-Hants regulars such as British Railways Standard Class 5, number 73096. This 1955 built engine is also a regular performer on the main line and can often be seen hauling the popular Cathedrals Express excursions around the south of England. Normally based on the Severn Valley Railway is former Port Talbot Railway 060 saddle tank number 813, which nowadays runs in Great Western Railway livery. The Kent and East Sussex Railway is the regular base of diminutive 060 Terrier, number 32678 Knoll. The engine was built way back in 1880 at the Brighton Works of the London, Brighton and South Coast Railway. These small locos were originally designed by William Stroudley for hauling lightweight trains on branch lines, particularly in the London area, where, at that time, track work was of light construction with poor foundations. London and South Western Railway 240 well tank number 30587 is usually to be found at work on the Bodmin and Wentford Railway in Cornwall, and was another gala visitor. It joined the Terrier working shuttle trains between Ropley and Alresford over the weekend. Running past Ropley Shed is another mid-Hants-based engine, Ivat LMS Design 262 tank, number 41312. Another gala visitor was from the Dean Forest Railway, Great Western Railway Prairie Tank, number 5541. Originally built at Swindon in 1928. At Medstead and Four Marks Station, we see Mid-Hants-based Southern Railway West Country Class Pacific, number 34016 Bodmin, en route to Alresford. Another newly restored GWR Prairie tank is the South Devon Railways number 5526, which we see at work during the line's Easter Gala, hauling some of its first ever trains. Withdrawn from BR service in 1961, 5526 was steamed for the first time in preservation at Buckfast Lee on the 9th of December 2003. Prairie Tank also worked a short demonstration freight train during the gala, which is seen here at Totnes Little Hempston Station, located a short walk away from the main line station in the town. One of the most scenic locations on the South Devon Railway, which runs from Totnes to Buckfast-Lee on the old Ashburton branch, is here at Staverton Station, located not far from the banks of the River Dart. Number 1369 is the sole surviving example of these outside cylinder 060 pannier tanks, which were once used to haul boat trains along Weymouth Quay. Coasting towards Staverton is Great Western 042 tank number 1420. This Collett-designed engine is one of a class of 75 built by the GWR in the 1930s for push-pull working. (1420) arrives at Totnes Station with an auto train working from Buckfast-Lee, hauling the South Devon's auto coaches numbers 240 and 228. Departing from Staverton is 1369, double heading with the South Devon's Austerity saddle tank, number 68011 Errol Lonsdale. Also in action were two other Collett-designed GWR locos, 060 number 3205 and pannier tank number 5786, which are seen making a spirited double-headed departure from Totnes.
2001 saw a well-packed programme of steam on the main line, with Pastime Rail running their South Devon coastal from Plymouth. Then on to Newton Abbot, before steaming on towards the English Riviera, with its famous holiday resorts of Torquay and Paignton. Another excursion was the Elgar Explorer. Pulled by 5029 Nunney Castle, which is one of the famous Collet Castle class 460s built at Swindon between 1923 and 1951.
Direction round platform number 5, this train is not for public service. Please stand clear at the next train to arrive at platform number 5. Thank you.
The Collet Castle class were built with a lot of mechanical improvements from batch to batch. So in 1951, when the last castles were being built, some of the first batch were being scrapped.
Visiting the Great Central Railway for their January steam gala was the Llangollen Railway's GWR Prairie Tank, number 4141, seen here taking water at Loughborough. Also in action was World War II Austerity 210 locomotive, number 90775. Formerly based on the North Yorkshire moors, the engine has since moved on to the North Norfolk line. The former War Department loco worked the Great Central's popular TPO set over the gala, and at Quorn and Woodhouse Station, mail bags are prepared on the line-side apparatus for 90775 to perform a high-speed mail pickup. Owned by the National Railway Museum, number 63601 is a genuine survivor from the original Great Central Railway. The 280 was built in 1911 at Gorton Works to a design by R.K. Robinson. A further 521 of this type of loco were built during World War I for the Railway Operating Department and saw service on British and overseas railways during that period. For our final sequence in British Steam 2004, we headed off to the northeast of England for the chance to witness the opening of a brand new steam railway. In County Durham, passenger trains have returned to the Wear Valley 50 years after being withdrawn by BR, as the Weardale Railway was officially opened by Government Chief Whip and local MP Hilary Armstrong. This initial reopening is the first stage in an ambitious plan to eventually operate an 18-mile railway out of Bishop Auckland into the dales of the North Pennines. Hundreds of well-wishers braved the heavy rain at Stanhope Station for a chance to ride on the first ever train.
The line was originally built in the 1840s and was extended in a series of moves up to 1895 when the very last piece of the line was built. It was basically built to carry the various quarry materials in the valley, including limestone, fluorspar, iron ore and a little bit of coal at the east end of the valley. During the 20s and 30s the traffic began to drop. In fact, by 1953 the decision was made to stop the passenger service. It's virtually traffic free by that time, and the freight lingered on a little while and almost the whole line closed, but then it was saved in early 1960s because of cement traffic from a new cement works that was constructed at Eastgate. And that point the line ran successfully as a freight line from Bishop Auckland to Eastgate with connections onto the East Coast Main Line. Unfortunately in 1993 the decision was made to take the cement traffic and put it onto the road, and at that point the line was mothballed by British Rail. This gave us the opportunity then to purchase the line. A group of people got together and formed the Weardale Railway Preservation Society, and they were very keen to reopen the line. At the same time, Wear Valley District Council decided to see if they could get involved, and they actually set up the Weardale Railway Company Limited. And they got Sir William McAlpine involved because they thought they needed somebody with a lot of rail experience to help head up that company. And since then the two organisations have worked together, and after nearly 11 years we've managed to open the line. The first section of track we've decided to reopen is between Stanhope and Woolsingham for a couple of reasons. It's a reasonable length for a heritage line. It gives us altogether an 11-mile round trip. There's 3 quite nice stations that we can look at, and our headquarters is based at Stanhope Station, which is actually the only station that we own the actual buildings and things. To start the line, we've done this very quickly, and we didn't really have time to do all the purchasing of rolling stock and locos we'd like to have done, so we decided the easiest thing was to hire, and in fact we hired engines from the Tanfield Railway and from Nelpeg, and they provided them in fact free of charge for the first weekend, which is very nice of them, and then we're on a daily hire rate, and we're going to do that all through this summer. The rolling stock again was hired. Llangollen Railway provided 3 coaches and the Caledonian Railway another 3. But our plans are to acquire our own stock. We've actually got some finance for a steam engine, which we haven't been able to yet invest. We're looking for the right locomotive. And we've already got one carriage which is actually under restoration, which we purchased from North Yorkshire Moors Railway last year.
The two engines worked trains top and tailed over the opening weekend to avoid running round. On loan from the Tanfield Railway was Newcastle-built Robert Stevenson Hawthorne Austerity saddle tank, number 49, a former NCB loco, which worked at Backworth Colliery in Northumberland. North Eastern Railway P3 class number 2392 is based on the North Yorkshire Moors Railway and was built in nearby Darlington in 1923.
As a heritage railway, we're probably unique in England because of the way we've been financed. Unfortunately, Wear Valley, although extremely beautiful areas, is actually the poorest rural district in England. It surprises many people. We've got very high unemployment. However, there's always a silver lining to things. We were able to take advantage of this unemployment and actually apply for grants on the basis that our business plan will bring about 90,000 visitors a year into the valley over the next 5 years. The next phase of the project is to actually open the line up to Eastgate, which is a couple of miles further west, actually into the old cement site. And that cement plant has now been flattened, and basically it's going to be turned into some kind of holiday attraction. The final details are not yet been fixed, but we've committed to put a station there next year. So early 2005 there will be a station at Eastgate. The phase 3 is to actually go east along the line to Bishop Auckland, and therefore hopefully connect with the national network. What we'd really love to do, if we can get the permission, is to run on the network rail tracks as far as Shildon and connect into the National Rail Museum.
The 7.5 mile long Llangollen Railway runs through the beautiful scenery of the Dee Valley in North Wales on part of the former Rwabon to Barmouth line. Departing from Llangollen during the line's gala weekend is former GWR pannier tank number 7754. The loco was sold by BR to the National Coal Board in 1959, and number 7754 worked at Tallywayne and Mountain Ash Collieries in South Wales until finally succumbing to mechanical failure in 1975. A visitor from the Keighley and Worth Valley Railway was Ivat 262 Tank, number 41241, recalling the time when members of this class would have worked on the line in BR days. Passing through Glenduffry Station is one of the mainstays of steam operations on the line, GWR Large Prairie Tank, number 5199. Built in 1934 at Swindon, the loco spent most of its life working commuter trains and branch line services in the Birmingham area. "5199 pauses at Berwyn Station, one of the most picturesque on the Llangollen Railway, with its views of the river flowing past beneath. Future plans for the railway include a 2.5-mile extension from Carrog to Corwin, and their long-term aim is to link up with the national rail network at Rwabon. The country now boasts a wide variety of mainline steam excursions. Arriving at Sherborne in Dorset is Black 5, number 45231, at the head of the Cathedrals Express. This Christmas-time trip was one of many Cathedrals Expresses run throughout the year by rail tour operator Steam Dreams. The specials run to many cathedral cities throughout England. This run from Waterloo gave us the opportunity to see the Black 5 being turned on the turntable at Yeovil Junction. The original British Railways turntable here at Yeovil Junction has now been taken over by the South West Mainline Steam Company and forms part of the Yeovil Railway Centre, a preservation project which occupies the old goods sheds and yards. While many of the turntables found on heritage railways are of the manual variety, where the engine crew have to put a lot of effort into actually hand cranking the table around, the one here at Yeovil Junction requires a lot less work, as it is operated by connecting the steam engine's vacuum brake pipe to the turntable, which powers the mechanism. With the engine turned, the Black 5 support crew could then set about servicing the loco prior to the return run back to Waterloo later in the afternoon. A major job was to clear out the large amount of ash which had accumulated in the engine smoke box during the 130-mile trip down from the capital. Steam Dreams also ran several Sunny South specials from London to Weymouth and return, seen here hauled by 71,000 Duke of Gloucester. The Duke is the one and only example constructed of this British Railway's standard 8P design. "71,000 put in a spirited performance on the sunny south trips, with the beautiful Dorset scenery forming the ideal backdrop for the Duke. Mainline steam runs are always subject to the vagaries of the national rail system, and this year's hot summer put extra pressure on the operators, as steam bans were imposed to reduce the risk of line-side fires. These shots of the regular excursion from Birmingham to Stratford-upon-Avon, the Shakespeare Express, were taken on a day when the addition of a diesel was imposed by Network Rail. These regular Sunday trips, run by Vintage Trains, are operated by Tyseley-based Great Western Hall class, 4965 Rood Ashton Hall. At Stratford-upon-Avon, the elegant-looking hall runs around its train, still attached to the West Coast Railway Class 47. At least for the return run back to Birmingham, the diesel was coupled inside the steam engine, allowing Rood Ashton Hall to put in a bit of effort on the departure from Stratford. Back at Birmingham Moor Street, we get the chance to admire the strangely attractive architecture of the Bullring Centre, which overlooks these carefully restored platforms and station buildings at Moor Street. Sadly, no trains use these platforms at present. The tracks extend no further than the end of the platform. Rood Ashton Hall arrives back in Birmingham with the second round-trip working of the day. Another regular steam operation, the Torbay Express, with the rousing sight of a mighty Great Western King-class loco. These weekly Sunday trips from Bristol to Kingswear, organised by Pastime Rail, run along the beautiful seawall section of track in South Devon through Starcross, Dawlish and Tidmouth. Here on the seafront at Dawlish, we see regular mainline performer, number 6024 King Edward I, powering its way along the coast, bringing back to life the sights and sounds of those glorious days of the Great Western Railway.